At 5 a.m. on December 1, 1996, the sky was pitch black, so dark that you could barely see your fingers. Retired Zhang Debo, Uncle Zhang, as usual, got up at his regular old time to do his morning exercise. What Zhang Debo practiced was Yang-style Tai Chi after a session of flowing, cloud-like movements and graceful hand gestures. His body was already slightly sweaty. Those who have reached a certain level of practice become completely unaware of the passage of time. By then, a faint light had begun to appear in the sky, and the outlines of the neighborhood buildings and surrounding trees had been gently edged with morning glow. Zhang Debo slowly gathered his breath and finished his form, gently exhaling the last bit of stale air from his lungs. As he slowly opened his eyes, a scene off to the side suddenly shocked him to the core. A woman lay face down on the muddy ground not far from him, back facing up, limbs twisted in the shape of a grotesque, large character. There was a drag mark several meters long beside her, along with a scattered women's handbag and other items. Most horrifying of all was her exposed lower body. The woman was already dead. A silk scarf was tied tightly around her neck. The contents of her bag had been completely looted. According to the investigators who arrived soon after, the deceased was surnamed Zhang, 44 years old, and lived in Shaoxi No. 4 village. She was a technical section chief at a company in Minhang District, Shanghai. Zhang was intelligent and capable, the decisive head of the household both at home and at work. On the evening of November 30th, she had arranged to run some errands on Zhongshan West Road with her younger sister. After finishing, they took bus number 43 back together and parted ways at the Zujiawi stop around 10:30 p.m., each heading home. From that moment, Zhang disappeared without a trace. That night, her husband, seeing that his wife had not returned, searched anxiously with their son, but no relatives or friends had any news of her. It was as if Zhang had evaporated into an endless black void. Just 9 days later, on the night of December 9, 1996, Li Ping from Minhang District said goodbye to her female companions after a pyramid scheme gathering. It was already past midnight. The streets were empty and silent, the last bus long gone, so Li Ping had no choice but to walk home. When she was still 200 or 300 meters from the main gate of Shanghai Botanical Garden, Li Ping suddenly heard light, but rapid footsteps behind her. Before she could turn around, a dark shadow flashed past, and her neck was immediately seized, cutting off her breath. A vicious voice hissed from behind. "Don't scream. Scream and I'll kill you." As he spoke, Li Ping felt something hard and sharp pressed against her waist. The slightest movement sent sharp pain piercing through her clothing into her flesh. The man dragged her by the neck into the roadside greenery, threw her face up onto the ground, and immediately straddled her. When Li Ping regained consciousness from her faint, she was stunned to find that the assailant had not left. From the side, he appeared to be only about 20 years old, with an ordinary appearance, medium build but very solid. His eyelids were slightly puffy, and in the darkness only a single fold of his single eyelid eye could be seen, flashing with cruel light. For some reason, after the assault, the perpetrator began chattering to Li Ping about his own past. He said he had once served 5 years in prison, that his girlfriend had run off with someone else, and that he wanted revenge, so he was going to kill women. After saying this, he pounced on her again, gripping her throat tightly, squeezing harder and harder until she stopped moving. After strangling Li Ping unconscious, the man took a pair of gold earrings and a green jade bracelet from her body. November 30th and December 9th. Within just over a week, 2 cases of rape, murder, and robbery occurred in succession, immediately drawing high-level attention from both the Sub-Bureau and the Municipal Public Security Bureau. During this period, railway police also requested assistance from local police in investigating a similar case. On the night of November 11th, a migrant worker from Anhui named Xu was strangled to death near the railway tracks by Longhua Railway Station while passing through late at night. Her gold earrings, pendant, and other items were robbed. Due to frequent train movements along the tracks, the perpetrator did not have time to carry out the rape and fled in panic. Although the outcomes of these cases were not identical, the modus operandi was basically the same. Targeting women returning home late at night, tailing them, then dragging them to green belts or secluded spots, threatening them with a knife, and committing the crimes. Based on the victims' descriptions, Chao Shengwei analyzed that the perpetrator was likely a migrant worker living in Suhui district, probably in one of the outer suburban areas where large numbers of migrants gathered. The police brought in railway police sketch artist Zhang Xian, who produced a composite sketch of the suspect based on the victim's descriptions of his physical appearance. The portrait was then used to screen over 100 suspects among the migrant population in the district, but everyone was ruled out. The killer still did not surface. There must have been a problem somewhere in the screening process. The sub-bureau leadership attached great importance to the case. After a bureau party committee meeting, it was decided that Deputy Bureau Chief Zheng Weigua, then in charge of criminal investigation, would personally command the task force, with Chao Shengwei as group leader. The entire bureau's police force was mobilized to set up stakeouts and ambushes in areas where the suspect was likely to appear. The main focus was the southern part of Suhui district, outside the inner ring road, including areas along Shaoxi River, Longgu Road, Longhua, etc. 10 fixed ambush points were established, each manned by 2 officers, combining stationary posts with mobile patrols, with emphasis on patrolling. The time window was the second half of the night through early morning. Meanwhile, Chao Shengwei led investigators in further investigation work, laying a tight net in several high-risk areas prone to incidents. For the next few days, under a moon that appeared and disappeared behind clouds, the ambush zones remained quiet. On the night of December 15th, the killer struck again. A young female employee of a Shanghai company named Yan was attacked in an alley near Xietu Road and Wamping South Road. She was strangled unconscious, raped, and robbed of 7,000 yuan in cash, a platinum necklace, a pager, stock magnetic card, fund card and other items. The method matched exactly: knife threat, neck strangling, attempt to kill after the crime, etc. But this time, the crime scene was outside the police ambush perimeter. The offender's activity range had expanded from outside the inner ring road to inside it, greatly increasing the difficulty of solving the case. It meant Suhui police would have to deploy their limited manpower over a much larger ambush area. After further studying the perpetrator's pattern of activity, Chao Shengwei noticed that if Longhua area was taken as the center, presumed residence, all crime scenes were within roughly half an hour's travel from that center, and formed a fan-shaped distribution. This reinforced the decision to intensify screening and ambushes. The ambush zone was significantly expanded. East to Demukyo Road and Xietu Road, north to Zhaojiabang Road, west to Shaoxi Road and Old Humin Road, south to Bays Road and the Botanical Garden. An area of roughly 10 to 20 square kilometers of urban territory was now covered. Ambush hours were set from 22:30 every night to 1:30 the next morning, with Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights designated as priority high-risk periods.